Join me right now on Kumite TV is UFC lightweight Drew Dober. Welcome back, Drew.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure to chat with you guys.
All right, man. Let's kick it off right now. Nick Hine. What did you think of him retiring? He's still young.
Yeah,
It's not like he's like
it's
a
like
guy.
35, but I mean, he
Yeah.
has a lot of things going on like outside the cage. I mean, between like the police department and he's doing these seminars and acting and he wrote a book. And so, I mean, I know like with every fighter, like fighters like fighting is like in your blood and your heart and like you always want to, relive that glory, but I mean, there's a time and a place to hang it up, especially if you got other things going on.
Yeah, I think it's probably better to hang it up earlier than better than later, right?
Right. There's definitely some fighters out there that should hang it up or should have hung it out sooner.
Yeah, we won't mention any names, but a lot of people know who they are, right?
Exactly, exactly. But I mean, but Frank Camacho
well,
was great though. Like his first successful cut to 155, and I mean, he like it showed kind of like what I always thought with me, which is at 170, like it's comfortable, but I can't maintain that output because I'm heavier. So at like 155, you saw that Frank Camacho was able to like keep that pace. So it was fantastic.
yeah, maybe we might see you guys run it back at 55, right?
It will be a lot of fun, and we'll definitely get a fight on the night again.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go back to your last fight, Beneil Dariush, last March in Wichita, Kansas. Not the result you wanted, but you looked phenomenal early on, man. I thought you looked great. Take me through that night and what positives you can take from the performance that you had.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty night and day. That first round was picture perfect, and as the second round was not the greatest. But the first round, I showed what I truly believe, and that's like I can stand and trade with anyone in the division. And Beneil, like I mean, he really his stand up is not bad at all. And I remember watching him. He did well against Barbosa. He did well against Evan Dunham. Like he's really good. And so I just showed what I'm capable of in the first round. And in the second round, I mean, he doubled down on the takedown, and towards the end of the round, I just made some critical game plan errors. And at that level or at this level, you can't make those mistakes. And he's a veteran, so he saw the opportunity. I made the mistake. He took advantage of the mistake, and that submission was pretty slick.
Yeah, it was slick. And he is a master on the ground. So you can't be too hard on yourself about that.
Yeah,
Like you said, it's a matter of mistakes, and sometimes you make the wrong move, and it's over in a millisecond.
yeah.
In the post fight interview, Darius he said that he heard your arm pop like 4 or 5 times. Man, how was your arm? How were you physically after that fight?
Yeah, it definitely popped. I mean, I pride myself in my heart, my durability, and my resilience. And so I got two arms. I'll hit you with the one that's not broken. So I actually just end up tapping because the choke, like I was getting tunnel vision. So I was just like, man, you can't fight off passing out. But yeah, my arm popped. He was trying to take that home with him, and it came close. But yeah, nothing's broken. Nothing I had to recover of too much. Just a lot of stiffness and soreness. But yeah, props off to Beneil.
When you got back home, how did you decompress or recharge the batteries, so to say?
I always travel. If I'm dead in Denver, Colorado, I'm in the gym. And so I learned that if I'm forced to take a week off or have to take a week off, I gotta go somewhere. So I went down to Costa Rica with my girlfriend, and yeah, just enjoyed some beach, some pina coladas, and a whole lot of nothing. But yeah, as soon as I got back, me and my coaches watched the fight, and yeah, I always want to improve. The Drew Dober of yesterday is not going to be the Drew Dober of tomorrow, and so there's things I can enjoy, but there's also a lot of things that I want to improve. And even in the first round, there are some things I was doing that I can improve on.
Without giving too much away, could can you give us a little bit of something of like what you worked on after that fight?
Oh yeah, I mean, my game plan going into the fight was I wanted to make Beneil uncomfortable. And if you look at it on paper, he's a ground fighter, and to go to the ground with him, right? So I was avoiding the ground, but after I tagged him on the jaw, I allowed him to go into like that wrestling, that clench work, right? And we see a lot of boxers, right, working like the frames and creating space to continue their boxing. And I just felt like with my Muay Thai background, the things that we're doing, I just started falling into tendencies that didn't complement what I was trying to do in my game plan. So, I mean, I'm not revealing too much, but yeah, it's like I'm just trying to fix these tendencies. So, I mean, whether you're doing sport boxing, sport jujitsu, sport Muay Thai, like you start playing by these rules that don't transfer well in MMA. And so now I'm just trying to like fix bad habits pretty much.
Kind of like remapping your brain
Right,
to
right.
where it's more towards the MMA side.
Exactly. I mean, you said like boxers have beautiful head movement, but sometimes they duck their head down too far, and that won't translate when there's knees, right? So it's just an example of just like, there's got to be some, checks and balances.
Yeah, that's why I always like talking to you, man. You know, like you could kind of like break it down, like different from some other fighters that I talk to. You know, when I ask you certain questions, you know, it educates me. You know,
Awesome. Yeah.
it's good.
I try my best to understand not only what to do, but why. Because eventually, when I'm done getting punched in the face, I'm going to teach others how to avoid getting punched in the face, and I got to know why.
Minneapolis, Minnesota is your next stop. Polo Reyes is your next challenge. How do you feel about fighting in the land of 10,000 lakes?
Well, thank God we're going in the summer because, yeah, I mean, it gets really cold up there in the winter. So, I mean, I'm just thankful it's June. um, but yeah, the UFC knows that I sell tickets in the Midwest, and so they kept me in the Midwest, and I plan on packing the house. And for those who buy tickets, they're going to be entertained.
Reyes, man, your opponent, he's known to be a brawler. He's had a few fight of the nights, you know, great back and forth. You've faced brawlers before, and you've basically, technically picked them apart and got good wins over them. How do you feel about this matchup?
I think on paper, it's a great matchup. Sean Shelby did a hell of a job, getting two guys to stand and trade when we're going to touch each other's chin and make it super entertaining for the fans. But yeah, I mean, I think Polo Reyes is a good brawler, but like a strategical brawler. Like he knows when and when not to, and like he's gonna make the fight super exciting. So it's my job to go in not as a different fighter, but as an improved fighter. So I can stand and trade too, but I'm gonna be a little bit more technical or a little bit more strategical about my brawling.
Do you when you're preparing for this fight, do you see it as you don't have to really worry about the takedowns in this one? Is that your mindset here, or are you always looking to wrestle?
I mean, I'm always looking to beat Khabib. I mean, no offense to Khabib, but like I'm looking not just beat my next opponent. I'm looking to beat every opponent, in the future. And so I'm not getting away from wrestling. I'm not getting away from the jujitsu. I mean, I'm still rolling with black belts, even though I know that Polo Reyes may not just go for arm bars or whatnot. But yeah, so for this fight, I'm comfortable with the whole stand up department. But I mean, I'm gonna fight someone else, and they're gonna be might be doing something else, or I might have a last minute opponent change. So again, I worry less about my opponent in my next fight and more about what I'm doing. How can I improve? And at the end of the day, I want to be an Olympic wrestler, a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and a world-class striker, right? At the end of the day, I want to be the best at everything.
In your preparations for this fight, is there anything that you have added new? I know it hasn't been too long, but since I've talked to you, but is there anything new?
Yeah, there's a ton of things new. Just we watched the last fight in the jiu-jitsu department. I made some mistakes. In the wrestling department, I made some mistakes, and even the striking department, like there was things I could have improved on. And so we just went right back to the drawing board and was like, all right, these are the things I do well, and MMA is we do three sports in one. We do striking, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu. So I'm taking at pretty much what I'm already good at and trying to like add and improve, right?
Who's out there right now? Who are you working with? Training partners or coaches out there in Colorado?
So my main coaches, I got Elliot Marshall, black belt in jiu-jitsu. I got Dave Zabriskie, who was a national champion at Iowa State. And then my striking coach is Oscar Martinez. And he teaches me how to strike. And then as far as like teammates go, I mean, my buddy is Neil Magny. I trained with Austin Hubbard before his last fight. Actually, majority of my rounds have actually been with Justin Gaethje. So Gaethje and I have been knocking each other's heads off for a while.
So basically the same cast and crew that you normally work with
Pretty.
from, since your last fight, right? For your last, I don't know how many fights.
Yeah, same crew. I mean, with Team Elevation, we have like the core group of guys. But we have some guys bouncing in and out. We have an open gym policy, so if anyone's in Denver, Colorado, come check out Team Elevation. It's more than welcome to come join us.
Yeah, I think I talked to a few guys that are coming up. You know, a couple guys from the Contender Series that they said that, you know, the Denver area is just like, you know, anywhere you go there, they'll let you in there and, you know, spar or train, and everybody's very open. And it seems like you guys have a great community, man, because these guys are up and coming guys. They're not even known names, but they can go anywhere and train. And do you like that? Do you like these new guys coming in and kind of testing you? Because you have a name, man. You have the name.
Oh yeah, of course, I love it. I mean, you bring like some hungry wolves into the pack, and you know they want to make something of themselves, and so it's constantly testing you. I mean, you want to pick and choose your partners as far as like you got to go with the partners that will make you better. You know, we're not trying to like give each other concussions. But yeah, Denver is just a hotbed of just opportunity of training. Like we have so many guys, so many classes, so many gyms, and like yeah, Denver's just. I mean, it's for the athlete. It's how athletes can get better, and nobody's trying to own you. No one's trying to kick other people out. It's just open to knowledge, and that's what I love about it.
You mentioned Neil Magny. You know, recently he was pulled from the last card, I think in New York. How is he doing? You know, because he's a type of guy you would never expect that news to come out about him. You know what I mean? Like he's just one of the stand-up guys in the business.
Right, right. And I mean, I know Neil Magny, you know, personally, and he came out open and honest about what happened. And what happened is he tested positive for I think it was called like a SARM, which is like an over-the-counter kind of like mass gainer or whatever. But he has no idea like where it came from. And he's currently in the process of figuring out like what possibility it could have been, like cross-contamination. And I mean, this guy, he takes like fish oil and multivitamin. Like he just doesn't take supplements. I mean, look at him. I'm like, he's not like a super muscular specimen. I mean, so it's just, you know, and I talked to him today. Like it brings up the question of, I mean, USADA and the guys like, I love having him. Like I want to, you know, this sport to be clean. But they're testing all the way down to a picogram, and so at that level, like cross contamination could be in your shampoo or in your like dishwashing soap. It's like they're testing so minute that like any mistake can make you test positive, and testing positive in media is like whether it's steroids or just like something super minute of like over the counter, like something. It's like it seems like the same, right? When you test positive, you're a cheater, you're a liar, you do steroids. But like I've had like a past opponent who tested positive for like an anti-anxiety for like a drug that was prescribed to him, and he got in trouble for it. And now the people are like, "Oh, he's a cheater." I'm like, well, the knowledge is in the details.
Yeah, in a world where people and fans only read the headlines and it just says USADA blah 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 tested positive, that's all that people read, and they're just attack that, you know, and it's very bad for the fighters. Say their reputation is on the line right there, you know, when those headlines come out. So hopefully, you know, Neil gets that stuff cleared up, and maybe he could get a $30 million lawsuit going on or something. You know, who knows what could happen, right?
Fantastic. But I mean, it's just scary. Like as an athlete, we want to be the best versions of ourselves, and we're just taking like protein powder, and that's not even safe anymore. So it's just like we just can't. I mean, we just eat food and that's it. Like, you know, it's just crazy. Like after Neil's shenanigans, I just had to throw away everything that I had supplement wise. And I'm just trying to figure out what would be my next option.
Now, I want to go to something more positive. Drew Dober, Topps cards. You know, were you a guy that had baseball cards growing up? Did you collect these things? How cool is it to have those cards?
Dude, it's fantastic. I mean, to be honest, like I collected more Pokemon cards than actual baseball cards. But either way, like it's pretty awesome to be in like a little pack that like these kids are buying and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just tremendous. You know, first I'm on a card. Now I want to be in the video game. Like let's see how far this can go. Make little action figures of Drew Dober. I already have the body of a Lego man, anyways.
Hey, they're putting you in the game. They told you, or you're already in the game?
No, I'm looking forward to eventually being in the game.
Yeah, I don't play the game, so I don't know who's actually on the game or not. But yeah, I think being on the video game is probably like the coolest thing you could ever happen to a fighter.
That would be super cool. I mean, it'd be fantastic. It'd be like a dream come true. Like I'm a huge gamer anyway, so like I get to play myself.
Yeah. One last thing before I let you go, music and sports, they go hand in hand. Like what's on your playlist? Like when you're riding around in the car, like what are you listening to nowadays?
Oh man. So to be completely honest, I listen to like pop or R&B music or like old school funk music. Like I relate martial arts and fighting like as close as I can to dancing. Like I love doing this and we're gonna have a fun time doing it. And so I play music to like put a smile on my face and get a beat going.
Who are the artists? Like who are the funk artists or the R&B artists?
Oh man, like most of the time I jog to like Chris Brown and Usher. I walk out to Montel Jordan all the time, so I make 90s R&B music. I'm trying to think. Earth, Wind, and Fire, like Let's Groove Tonight. Michael Jackson a lot. So yeah, I just try to have fun whatever I'm doing.
All right, well, we could expect you on June 29th to walk out to some 90s R&B music, UFC on ESPN 3, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Thank you, Drew, for your time. It's always good talking to you, and good luck in your future.
Thank you so much.